Hey guys, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, and welcome to another edition of the movie review series. And I am joined once again with fellow YouTuber, the Holiday Christopher Mace. And today we are going to be talking about the brand new Blu Ray Batman Death in the Family, which is a very interesting concept because this is the first interactive movie where you can have your own options of how Jason Todd's death can play out in a number of scenarios. So, Chris, glad to have you aboard once again, and I understand you have a copy of yours already.
Well, yeah, I got it. I actually had to buy a Blu Ray player just to get a copy of it because what was interesting is if you try to rent it, like the last movie we reviewed, where I was able to rent it on YouTube, this one was a little different. It's interactive. And if you try to rent it on YouTube or rent it through a streaming service, you didn't get the interactive part of it. You just got one version of the movie and that's it. So kind of one of those, I ended up buying a Blu Ray player just to buy the Blu Ray DVD so I could watch the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had a few problems trying to get a copy of this because it's already came out in the US, didn't it?
It came out October 13th in the U.S., and then it took me about a day or so to find it because they were sold out at certain places I found it, looked for it.
Like a couple of weeks to get it because every time I kept going into the store, they just didn't have it, even though it was marked up saying Batman Death in the Family, but it never came out. But eventually I finally got my copy and managed to watch it, and it was very intriguing because in many ways you probably would agree with this. It's kind of like a prequel to Batman Under the Red Hood movie, which came out back in 2010, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say some way like that, and it iterates a little bit more about Under the Red Hood a little bit. And I think it's interesting because this movie came out, and anybody who's read the Three Jokers yet, definitely, I would definitely recommend to read that. Because also, if you once you read that, you understand more about this movie after you watch this movie and the different choices. Once you read the Three Jokers, especially when you get closer to the end, you'll understand a little bit more about what's going on as well. Some interesting facts that they talk about during that time.
And also, for many people who probably know this already, Under the Red Hood marked the first official time that Jason Todd actually made an appearance in animation, because Jason Todd never appeared in any form of media. He was only exclusive to the comic books. So this marked the first time in 2010 that Jason Todd actually appeared in animation. So this new interactive movie, Death in the Family, marks the officially that Jason Todd has appeared in animation, because anybody who watched the new Batman Adventures after Dick Grayson went on to become Nightwing, they kind of just skipped past Jason Todd and went straight to Tim Drake, who was Robin for the longest time. So I'm really glad that they saved Jason Todd for the movies, because he's a very dark and gritty character, and you couldn't really do something like that in the Batman animated series, could you?
I don't know. Batman animated series did push the envelope a little bit with a lot of different storylines. Did push it, so I think they could have gotten away with it. But like I said, they don't even really reference him, even in Batman Beyond. They didn't really reference it, especially the review you just recently did with Return of the Joker. You don't really see Jason Todd ever really referenced at all during that with the Joker. You had about Tim Drake and his struggle with the Joker. You never heard anything about Jason Todd and the Joker. They never even referenced it once in that movie.
No, they didn't really reference Jason Todd much in that movie. They kind of like kept him away from the DCAU stuff, because I think they said that Jason Todd was too gritty and dark for a kid's cartoon. But as you said, Batman the Animated Series did push the envelope quite strongly at times. So what we're going to do, basically, everyone, is we are going to do a watch along of Death in the Family on Blu Ray. It's obviously going to be muted, obvious reasons. And we are just going to watch through all the different scenarios that play out regarding Jason Todd's fate, and we are just going to give our thoughts and opinions on what we think of these different scenarios. So let's get ready and let's do this. Ready when you are.
I'm ready when you are. You just count it down and we'll hit play and
Okay.
we'll go from there.
Right, we are counting down in 2, 1, play. Here we go. It's just loading up now.
Yep. That's the fun part of doing these. You got to make sure you're both keyed in at the same time, or you'd be a second or two off. Or going, wait a minute, I saw this. But what I liked about this, at least it explains to you what you're supposed to do. It's like, okay, it's not like you guess what you're doing. It'll explain to you, choose how the story progresses. It'll tell you already you get 7 different endings. You just got to figure out which ending. It'll make sure you understand all the choices and everything and how to do it. So, you ready to skip the instructions?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And tell you, like, are you ready? And then you go to begin the story.
Yep. Here we go. And we are playing. Yeah. Here comes the Warner Brothers logo.
Yeah. And then the normal trailer they've been showing all the DC characters since the DCU started here.
Yep. Very majestic intro, I must say.
I do like this intro.
Yeah, it's a very good intro. I like the shot you see of the comic book shop. That's quite a new thing that's just been recently added to the DCU.
Yeah.
Intro. And there it is.
Death in the Family.
There you go.
And like I said, all this became about because of a phone call. You got to vote on whether he lived or died, and it was by a slim margin that he ended up getting voted to die. But what we got out of that was amazing storytelling after he died.
The funny thing is about that, after Dick Grayson went on to become Nightwing and Jason Todd took over, a lot of fans didn't really accept Jason Todd because, Dick Grayson was such a huge part of the Batman mythos as Robin for most of their childhood. And to see Jason Todd, that is brilliant. Amazing intro. And to see Jason Todd, who is the complete opposite of Dick Grayson, was a bit of a big change for a lot of hardcore fans, and that's probably why they killed him off, because they just couldn't accept it. It's very DCAU, that intro, I must say.
Yeah, and like you said, you see pretty much the whole story. You will see things to me like you've seen in Batman Under Red Hood, like I said, but except I think it's a little bit different because you're getting more narration from Batman's point of view of everything. Like you're seeing this scene here where Jason Todd is taking down these thugs trying to get information, and Batman's going to get upset with him in a few minutes because he's saying he's being too aggressive. He's using his rage too aggressive with everything.
Well, this scene was more or less a flashback from Under the Red Hood, but just a bit more expanded. So you're seeing a bit more what you didn't see in that movie. So it's kind of near enough the same, but just a little bit more stretched out, as you can see here. Jason and Bruce are having words. The difference with Jason and Dick is Dick was very, when he was young, very happy-go-lucky and very quite obedient at times. But with Jason, he was very rebellious, and, how shall I put it, anti-authority. He just didn't listen to anyone. He always just did what he wanted. So that made Jason quite interesting.
Yeah, I like that flashback scene showing, him telling his parents the last words his father says, Zorro and Arkham. And that plays into some of the endings here later on.
Yeah, this is some good stuff here.
yeah, him and Alfred discussing, talking about Jason, like I had years and you and different people to help me along the way. Jason's just full of anger and rage, and, he just wants to take him pretty much, he's
Yeah,
talking about taking him off.
Jason was a very, I wouldn't say bitter, but he was a very angry child. He was
Yeah.
a very angry child. Another one of the big differences between him and Dick.
And then you see that the scene that gets talked about a lot here with Joker beating down Jason Todd here with the crowbar, which is a scene that's been played over and over in storytelling and comics and animation. And like I said, and I do like how they got the voice actor who did the Joker and Batman Under the Hood to reprise his role in this one. I believe it's the same actor who played Batman, the voice Batman in Batman Under the Red Hood as well.
Yeah, the voice of Batman for this movie was in Under the Red Hood is Bruce Greenwood. He did the voice of Batman, and he done a really good job channeling his inner Kevin Conroy, even though Kevin Conroy and Bruce Greenwood are completely different style of voice acting for Batman, but I thought Bruce did a very good job with Batman. I forget who done the voice of the Joker. It was very similar to Mark Hamill. I thought he did a really good job as well. And also, this scene, just like Chris mentioned here, the crowbar, this scene would also be revisited once again in the Batman Arkham Knight game for the PS3. Oh, sorry, PS4, actually. So, obviously, that played out a little bit differently, but it's virtually near enough the same. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, they did add their own little touches to certain scenes you've seen from Batman Under Red Hood. It wasn't like it was just a mirror image of the same scenes. So, like, you're seeing this flashback scene where Bruce finds Jason, and then he's going after the Joker, and then he's finding out intel and stuff, and they're having an argument here about this, and then they decide to talk about, well, it looks like it's going to take both of us to take him down, and I mean, it's really interesting to how they added certain scenes that built up on the story here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they did a really good job, like you said, not just rehashing the movie. I mean, it's kind of like part Red Hood movie and part Death in the Family, but at the same time, it's taking you in different directions and taking you places that Under the Red Hood didn't take you. So you're seeing a lot more in this one that you didn't see in the last one. So I thought they did a really good job with that. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where you see they're about to re-team up again after they had that falling out you saw earlier. And
I like how the Jason suit in the movie, they didn't go with the traditional iconic yellow cape and red outfit. They went with, I believe that was Tim Drake's costume in the comics.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, because that was, for anyone who's read any of the comics, the reason why Tim Drake wore red and black was because Connor Kent got killed off, so he wore red and black as a tribute to Connor. So I like that they used that design for Jason as he got a bit older. I think it made kind of sense here.
Yeah, and I like how the Joker is pretty much talking to him. He's like going, all right, do your homework and everything, like being just the Joker as always. And if you see the big man, tell him I said hello.
Yeah, sick line from the Joker. One thing that wasn't in this scene, which I'm very surprised they cut out, which was in the comic book, was Jason Todd's mother. I know it turned out not to be his mother. It was a lady pretending to be his mother, but I'm very surprised that she wasn't included in this movie because she was quite a big part of that story, if you remember that.
Yeah, she was. It was kind of surprising, but I mean, they did. I mean, I don't see why they couldn't have added it in here. Like I said, because relatively, if you think about it, this movie is relatively a short story. It's just different stories, but it's a shorter version of this movie and different events. So I think they could have added it in there.
Yeah, because that scene with the lady pretending to be Jason Todd's biological mother was quite an important part of the story, because that's what led Jason to go off from Batman in the first place. Oh dear.
And so if you get ready, as he's looking at the camera here, and you get ready, and this is when you get those first set of options here. They give you the three choices.
It's
and
option
I like how Robin will die because the Joker wants revenge, but you can choose to save him. So I think we said we were going to do the Robin, or what? Robin dies first.
Yep,
all right.
Let's go. Robin dies.
All right.
Here we go.
That's the one thing. I like how when it flashes, it shows in red what your choice is. But then if you don't make a choice, after a short time, it's going to make you choose. It'll choose for you.
Yeah, that was a very nice touch they added to the Blu Ray. I thought that was really good. Here we go. We
see Batman trying, and just like in the comic books, you know, the building blows up.
Although it's a lot more graphic, so just remember that, everyone. Here we go. This was called, for many years, Batman's greatest failure, failing to save Jason Todd. And there it is, that iconic picture.
Him holding his body, and the iconic, you know, look on his face, and him saying Jason. You know, like I said, this is one of the first few times where Batman felt like just one of his greatest failures here. Now, what I like here is that you see him in a diner, but you're not sure who he's really talking to. And it looks like now this is where you're getting it from his perspective of everything that happened after those events. He's talking about he failed to save Jason, and he failed to save him again, and then you finally seeing the first look at Red Hood.
Yeah, there's a little Red Hood tease there. So this scene is near enough the prologue of the Red Hood movie, where Batman and Nightwing take on Amazo. And Amazo was kind of like an android who could more or less use the abilities of his opponents against them. Here we go here.
But see, what I like about it, though, is if you look at it, it's more like Batman's commentary, his point of view on it. Now he's telling the story from his point of view. Okay, well, you know, it seemed like Dick knew when I needed help. He wanted to show up only when he knew I needed a second hand, and you know, but he would never tell him that. He would never tell him he needed him or anything. I thought it was very interesting that now you're hearing it from Bruce's point of view. Okay, this is what happened after he died. This is my point of view. This is how it's playing out. Because he's pretty much telling a story to somebody that's in a diner, but you don't know who he's talking to yet. You won't find out till the end.
Yeah, that was a nice touch, having Bruce address the events of what happened from his point of view. I thought that was a nice touch to this movie, and I think it works. You know, we wouldn't really want to just see mystery assailant on the run. Yeah, you wouldn't really want to see
assassinate everybody and the henchmen, and he assassinated them, and Batman leaves Dick behind and chases after.
Yeah, like you said, you know, it's a nice touch that Bruce is telling the story from his point of view, because you wouldn't really want to just see a rehash.
Yeah, I do like the callback here. You know, they call back to going back, you know, to where it all began and where the Joker was originally created here. Because you see glimpses of you've seen this in Under the Red Hood, and you also see this in The Killing Joke as well.
Of course. How can we forget? Yeah, Red Hood's an amazing character. The Jason Todd Red Hood, that is an amazing character.
Yeah, I like how Bruce is, in his mind, he already knows who this is the whole time. Just he has a feeling, but he can't, you know, he can't prove it yet. He doesn't. He knows in his heart this is who it is, but he can't. He's not for certain yet. He's unsure until he sees it for himself.
Of course, because it's one of those moments when Bruce does actually finally learn the truth of who is the Red Hood. He's not really that surprised. He's not really entirely surprised who it is. So there's
now we're getting to the part where he goes and interrogates the Joker now with Nightwing. He's here interrogating the Joker, trying to find that information, which, Joker doesn't give you any information anyways.
Yeah.
It's always one of those, he always interrogates the Joker, and he knows it's not going to get him anywhere. It's going to aggravate him.
Joker's the only villain in the entire Batman rogues gallery who always pushes Batman to kill him, but Batman's not going to do that. He's not that stupid. So here's Batman in detective mode, trying to figure out who the Red Hood is. So as you say, he kind of knows deep down who it is really, but he just more or less just getting confirmation.
Yep. And so they're waiting, lying in wait here. Red Hood's in the helicopter trying to take the helicopter, and you get Batman, Nightwing stopping them. And I do like this scene here. You see Red Hood's already jumped out of the helicopter, but Batman has to stop the helicopter now that he stopped. And
yeah,
it's one of those, it's a really nice scene to look at. And it's going, okay, now, like I said, and you can see how well Nightwing and Batman work together here too. I like how they do highlight how well they work together as well in this movie. And you see with Red Hood here, now he's always trying to escape. He's like, that's what Batman's fun. What was the line here? He said, he cut my grappling hook. Nobody cuts my grappling hook.
Yeah, I remember Nightwing said in the last movie, he said that he's obviously very good and very, very well trained. I like that line. That was a nice touch. I know Batman and Robin is, the classic dynamic duo, but I always preferred Batman and Nightwing. Just kind of like that pairing more.
Because now it's Dick Grayson. And then you see where you saw the bomb go off here, and Red Hood's fleed, and now Dick is injured, and Bruce can't even look at him right now. He's like, I can't even look at him. I feel one of those, you see a moment where he feels remorse, but he feels so bad now he can't even look at what happened because he feels bad for what happened to Dick because he doesn't feel like this is Dick's fight here to be part of.
Getting a little series of flashbacks for both Red Hoods. And this is where Bruce learns the fateful truth about the Red Hood's identity.
It's one of those, he knows, but it's one of those still where he knows, but he's not sure. And here's Black Mask here, and then you see a scene here where it seems like everything's going to chaos, and then you still got Red Hood here doing his stuff, taking out everybody. But then this is what interesting, because you see all these four very well highly assassins here trying to take him out, and Batman has to come to his rescue because Red Hood can't do it alone.
Yeah, I thought that was quite an interesting touch, that even though Red Hood's the bad guy taking out, as he likes to say, the competition, he still, as you say, he gives him a helping hand to even the odds.
Yeah, that's what's interesting as well. But then, like I said, I do like when we get here in just a minute here, right here, where Red Hood does it on purpose. He goes ahead and kills him just because he can. He was making a statement to Batman. Pretty much, I can do this. You can't tell me what to do.
I like how Batman and the Red Hood, they're like two sides of the coin. Batman won't kill the bad guy. Red Hood, he doesn't care. He'll just blow their heads off if he has to. That's what makes these two so interesting. They're like the two opposite sides of the coin.
Yeah, but then we see Batman back at back at the diner here. He's still talking. You still don't know at the time who he's talking to.
Yeah, this part always intrigues me. Like, who's he actually talking to? I actually thought the most part of this movie, I actually thought he was talking to Dick Grayson.
Yeah, I thought originally he was talking to Dick Grayson as well. He was trying to explain to himself the whole story of everything. Because then you see the scene here, Ra's al Ghul talking to Batman and, talking about the deal he had with the Joker to work with the Joker in Bosnia and why does everything happen. But he didn't know Jason Todd was going to be there. And,
yeah, this was a big part of the Red Ra's al Ghul and the Joker making the deal. Making a deal with the Joker is like the equivalent of making a deal with the devil himself. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, it doesn't end well. Joker does not play well with others.
Nope, he does not.
And like I said, Ra's al Ghul didn't realize that Jason Todd was there with him. And him being a father himself, he felt remorse for what happened to Jason Todd. And we still see the flashback scenes of Joker standing over Jason again, and then Ra's al Ghul. I mean, you could tell, like I said, they don't have to always talk to each other, but just those looks these two give. These two had different morals, different reasonings behind everything they do, but they had. It's one of those same equivalences of like Magneto and Xavier. They both had the same principles, just had different philosophies of how to get to that point.
Now, this scene here is Jason Todd being brought back from the dead through the Lazarus Pit. Now, in the comics, originally, Jason Todd came back from the dead was because Superman accidentally punched a hole in time and erased the events of his death, but DC changed it to, what we know now as using the Lazarus Pit, which I think works a lot better.
Yeah, I think it works better. It makes a little more sense in the Batman universe of everything happening. It makes a little bit more sense for them to use the Lazarus Pit.
Yeah. And also, in the Batman Hush graphic novel, they planted the seeds for Jason Todd to return when Clayface disguised himself as Jason Todd in the Hush gear when he kidnapped Tim Drake. They should have added that in this movie.
Yeah.
As a prologue.
Now you're seeing here Red Hood's going after Flat Mask here. He's pretty much...
As a classic Red Hood moment. Waving with the bazooka.
With the bazooka here, and you see Black Mask, he ducks, he doesn't die, he ducks the door that's on fire, and he's looking at his throat, and this is when he makes a deal with the Joker. Like we said before, why do you want to make a deal with the Joker when it doesn't ever go well? You see right here, he kills pretty much his henchmen except him and the secretary.
Yeah. I think I remember in the Under the Red Hood movie, Black Mask said something about when making a deal with the Joker, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yep, and then you see here in the very next scene, he's got a Secretary Black Mask and the rest of his goons in there, and he's pouring gasoline in the bed of the four-wheeler here, and you see Red Hood standing over him, looking down at him, and watching him as he about to catch it on fire. And this is
horrible.
Okay, as soon as he catches fire, here's Batman. I got to put that out. It goes done.
Yeah.
And then we see here where Red Hood, Batman's trying to get Joker, but then Red Hood's went ahead and cut the line again and got the Joker himself.
Now this was a good scene.
All comes full circle here.
This is brilliant. Giving Joker a taste of his own medicine. What he did to him. This is a really good scene. Now this is a little cool bit coming up here. This is kind of going back to the first time Batman met Jason when he was a kid. He was taking the wheels of the Batmobile off.
Yep, we see it, and he's got that look on his face like, what? What? I'm here. I got it.
Yeah, this was a good scene. This was.
That was a good callback too, because you going back to that movie theater always. You go back to that same theater where his parents were killed. And that's another thing I remember in this movie. He was talking about. He goes, he knows every Red Hood. This Red Hood knows everything. He knows He knows my weaknesses. He knows this. He knows about my parents. So that's why it tells him more and more. This is Jason. This has to be Jason.
Well, this guy obviously learned from the best. As you can see, these two are very evenly matched.
And then he even says in here he could have fought all day and all night if he wanted to. I think that's what he wanted to do.
This fight scene with these two, probably one of the best fight scenes in any Batman animated movie.
Yeah.
It's so personal.
Because what I like is as soon as he takes the mask off here and he says, when he reveals who he is, and then he says, like, at that moment, I didn't want to be Batman. I was a father. I was a father again. And then he looks at Jason, and then Jason, he don't want to hear none of that shit. This thoughts Bruce thing in his head as he's getting ready to going for round 2 now.
I like the when Jason takes his mask off. You see that little. You have to pause it. It's one of those moments you have to pause. He takes the mask off, and there's that flash of lightning, and you see the flash of him all bloodied up from when he died as Robin. I thought that was a really cool touch.
And then, like I said here, this is, like I said, I think this is a good, interesting, this is Batman narrating here, like his fight with him. It's like going, okay, he wanted a fight, he's going to get a fight. He wants to do this, we're going to go ahead and do this. I mean, I do like the narration part of this. This is Batman's side of it. This is from his aspect of what is going on. And pretty much talking about, he's about to make me make a choice here. And you see that iconic scene here with the standoff with Red Hood and Batman and Joker.
This is really, really, really good, this scene. Everything that happened that night all comes full circle. You got Jason back from the dead, and you got the man who caused all the pain right there in the middle. And of course, you got Batman there as well.
And then him tossing his gun to Batman, make a choice here. You kill him or you stop me from killing him. Because the whole anger isn't the fact that he didn't make it, was the fact that he didn't avenge his death after he died. He didn't go and kill the Joker for what he did, for taking him away from Bruce.
That's
right.
That
was the whole anger is out of all this because of this. Because everybody always argues, why didn't he just kill? Why doesn't just kill the Joker? And he won't do it. He doesn't believe in killing the Joker. He doesn't believe that he needs to.
Yeah, that was the theme throughout this whole thing. Why doesn't Batman kill the Joker? There's always been the question asked throughout every media. Ugh. Stiff shot there. I like how the Joker here he's so happy because he says he's finally going to get what he wants.
Yeah, he's finally going to get what he wants. I'm the only one going to get what I want today.
Yes. We all go out together. Brilliant.
And you obviously see with the timer and that iconic timer countdown, and you see the explosion again. You're going, oh, here it goes again. But now this time you see where he made it out, and you see here in just a minute.
This is definitely a callback to the night Jason died the first time around.
And I do like the facial expressions, how it was drawn in here with Batman, because you could tell like the facial expressions like, oh no, not again. Yeah. This time you see the Joker just laying there in the rubble laughing away. And then
yeah.
And see, what I like here is now you finally see who it is. You see that it's Clark Kent. We all know who is Superman here he's talking to.
Yeah, it's nice that they brought some Clark Kent for this, I think. really made sense to bring into this.
And I do like the joke here, or not the joke, because Batman being serious, he's talking about, don't make me orchestrate my contingency plan for you. And Bruce will tell him that, and then, not Bruce, I'm sorry, Clark will tell him the same thing. Well, the day you stop coming to talk to me about this stuff was the day I used my contingency plan against you. And I do like how they interact with each other.
Yeah, Batman and Superman are complete opposites in terms of their approach of fighting crime and their personalities, but they work so well together.
Yeah. I do like Clark said, the only thing I have left is to get the check, and Bruce like, I paid for it before you got here. He said, well, how did you pay for it? Because you get the same thing every time. And then pretty much the whole gist of that story is that Superman's talking about he'll help him find Jason. So then after that, like I said, you go to the credits and for pretty much that's the ending and the gist if you get to the Jason Robin dies. And then you gotta get on here and go back to the next choice here, which when you go back to Robin will die, and then you go to the next choices. So which choice do you think next? So we got two more choices.
Right. For the next one, we're going to go Robin cheats death.
All right. So go ahead and hit it.
Okay.
And like I said, I do like how as soon as you pick your choice, it goes to that bold red lettering, so you can see exactly what you chose.
So we're more or less back to where we were originally. Warehouse getting blown up.
And you see, like I said, it's still that iconic scene where he's looking for him and then he finds him, but now it's going to be a little different.
Oh.
And now this one, you see where you see him, he's going, thank God he's alive.
Yeah. I remember that was the picture for
and now you see all the damage,
the fans
the staples, the skin grafts, cracks in his skull, all the injuries he sustained because of that explosion and what the Joker did to him. And now you can hear this bitterness and anger out of him. He's watching everybody. He's talking about, I don't know how Barbara could be here. Joker paralyzed her. How did this man let a kid be part of his war against crime? They're all just standing there looking at me, probably being sad and, wondering this could happen to them at any time. And you could hear the anger in this one. Like you could hear the anger in his voice when he's narrating, talking about everything that happened. You could hear that passion and anger. That's what I liked about this scene.
So this is definitely in the same universe as The Killing Joke. As you say, you can see that Barbara Gordon is in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I do like how he sees Batman, Batman's face like the Joker or with the Joker, and it's just, and you see here that Jason's running away. He's bandaged up and he's escaped and running away from Bruce Manor.
Oh wow. That's it. That's the Hush gear, which was a callback to the Hush graphic novel with Clayface. So that was a nice touch. They added that there. It's this movie.
Yeah. And now you're seeing him. He's attacking people. He's killing mob bosses and mobsters, and you can see here where he's looking at Bruce and everything, and there's Cheetah, and he goes ahead and kills her.
Yeah.
And then you can see Batman realizing that it's Jason. Now,
this part,
I do hear the Riddler. Like Riddler's pretty much cut the heck up.
Oh, that was pretty stiff.
You got butchered there.
Big time.
And then you see, of course, Black Mass again.
Oh, this. Oh. Number one.
Yeah, we pretty much told him how much he's number one.
Oh
You
yeah.
see,
Oh.
it's funny. So you see him falling out the building, and he lands on a gasoline truck and blows up.
Shit.
And now you see Bruce being the detective here. He's looking through everything, trying to figure this all out here, what's going on exactly. And you hear news reports in the background, everything. But this
is pretty brutal stuff here.
Yeah. But see, this one is a lot shorter than the other two because it's the shortest out of the three choices you have, because now you're seeing him and you see a figure coming out to talk to Jason.
Yeah, this one was like it was just like under 2 minutes. This choice. Yeah. Mr. Lovely Talia.
That's Talia here. Daughter Raja Ghul, and pretty much talking. Well, what she pretty much states here too is that, ever since what happened to you, Batman broke ties with us, and he will have nothing to do with me anymore. And then this big revelation here where she's holding a child, and we all know who that child is. That's Damien.
So the interesting thing about Damian Wayne didn't come till years after, actually. I can't remember what year he came out. I know it was well after Jason Todd returned from the dead.
Well, I do like the explanation here, though, when she does that. It's because she goes, "Oh, his files, yeah," or talking about his files, yeah. I said I lost the baby, but I really didn't. Now, it led to they had a brief explanation of this, at least.
No,
Pretty much. He wants Jason to be a father figure to him, and like Jason's ulterior motives here, pretty much he's gonna want to train him to get revenge on both Talia and Bruce. So I think it's interesting.
I like the fact that Jason in this scene, he looks very similar to Two-Face. Like you got half his, not completely, but partially of his face is burnt. So nice callback to Two-Face as well.
Yeah,
that's a nice touch.
Because if you remember, it was Two-Face that killed his father.
That's right. He killed. That's right. I remember that. So it's kind of like half Hush, half Robin, half Two-Face, all in one. So it's kind of like a combination of everything.
Yeah, because if you look at the drawing, how it's animated here, you can see the gray hair in his bottom as well. If you look at the top part, you see the gray in it too. So that is a good callback. I never even thought about that until you just said it. When I've watched this a few times now, I didn't even catch that until you brought it up.
Well, this is the second time now that I'm seeing this, and it's very interesting, as you say, that the second time or even the third time you watch it, there's like little things you may have missed out the first time round. So there's some little
I like that. You see the Batman light come on at the end.
Yeah, that one was very short.
Yeah, that one was like one of the shortest ones out of here. And I was like, okay, because I was like, you get 7 choices. It's like, see, this is the one I like the most because you get different choice. The last one is where you're going to get a bunch of choices. So I know we're going to the last one here when it comes up, which is Batman Saves Robin.
So let's get to that. Just going to click that.
And clicking it now.
So we're now going to Batman Saves Robin. There we go.
This one, to me, had more of the it had more of the choices. This is where you're going to get all your other choices.
That's right. Yeah. So here we are again. Back to the
Batman gets there this time.
There's a little twist to it this time.
You see as battered and bruised as Jason is, you see he's looking at Bruce here, and now he's pretty much just laying here. He's dying, you know.
The first time I saw this really shocked me because I did not see this coming. This really took me by surprise. This is something you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, this is too. This kind of reminds me if you did like a what if comic of what if Batman had died instead of Robin in this storyline, what would happen? I think it's a good, interesting choice that they did, a new theory and ideas of what could have happened with this. But I do like the message he's trying to say, and don't go kill Joker because he took me away from you. Don't go out, don't kill Joker. You know, live up to my standards. So even in death, he's trying to tell Jason, don't kill, don't look for revenge, don't try to kill him. And that's a key plot here in this version of the ending.
Yeah, this is definitely an Elseworld sort of scenario. Like, what if Bruce had died instead of Jason? So I like how in this option they incorporated elements of the Elseworlds comics. So that was a really nice touch. Or at least inspired by Elseworlds. So that's quite cool. Poor Bruce. It's not really an aspect that's explored much. What if Batman died?
Yeah, now it pops up, Batman died, leaving Robin at crossroads. But you can guide him to the right path. You get to either catch the Joker or kill the Joker. Do you want to go with catch the Joker first?
Let's see. Let's go catch the Joker.
All right.
Let's go. Love that. It's a really nice.
Yeah, I really like the music with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Christopher Drake does an awesome score for this movie.
And so now you see that narrating, he's saying that Bruce is finally back with his family.
Yeah. It's very bittersweet moments, to say the least.
Yeah. And you see he's focused, he just wants to catch the Joker. But he's focused on this. He doesn't want to be, in this version, he doesn't want to be bothered by anybody.
Yeah, you can see Jason's eyes. He's in full revenge mode here.
And like in this one, he became Red Hood because he's trying to draw the Joker out. He's looking back in his files. He's trying to get his attention by revisiting this Red Hood gimmick that he did previously.
Yeah, when Joker started his reign as a villain, he was actually the Red Hood first. So
yeah,
it makes sense that Jason Todd uses the Red Hood gimmick.
And see, I like this at first because you're going, okay, you know, you see he's not killing anybody. He's trying to, I got to keep my word to Batman, not kill anybody. And he's not, like I said, he didn't kill those mobsters. He didn't kill the guys in the helicopter. He just pretty much with the black mask, he just has a rocket shot out of the bazooka and it just says bang, really trying to get the Joker's attention. And I like how we go back to this scene where now we got Joker sitting here on the four-wheeler here, and this time around it's not Black Mask he's going to try to burn up. It's just different people. He's got mobsters here he's going to burn up.
I like how Joker's just bowing like it's some sort of show. Gotham is his audience.
And seeing Joker fashion, I can't get his lighter to work. It's one of those, can't get it to work. Hold on just a second. Then Red Hood's looking down at him, pretty much saying, a cheap imitation. I wouldn't have gone with that outfit. A cheap imitation of the Red Hood.
When I wore that number, I had class.
Yeah.
Remember in the previous movie, he said about, I'm not into motorcycle fetishes. You know what I'm saying?
He says it in this one, too. Like I said, he's like, well, I'm kind of busy right now. You see him playing with the lighter. I'm kind of busy at this moment trying to get this lighter to work here.
Yeah. Everything to the Joker is like one big show.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gotham is the audience and he's the performer.
And then, like I said, Red Hood's like, "This is my plan to draw you out," and Joker's like, "Your plan?" Joker's thinking this is his plan to draw the Red Hood out, and Red Hood's thinking this is my plan to draw you out. You see that famous crowbar here, plays in effect here, tripping up the Joker.
The old famous crowbar, which is what really started all this.
Yeah. This is when he tries to, you say, Commissioner Gordon there watching by. I do like the hand where he has the fake hand and kicks him when the fake hand comes out.
I like that Joker literally was trying to stab Red Hood in the face, and because he's wearing a plastic mask, it just didn't even dent it. So that's quite a nice touch. Now this scene coming up here, this is probably one of the more emotional scenes of these options.
Yeah, when he reveals that he is Jason, and you see Joker with a big old smile. You became, I say, you became me.
Yeah, it's almost like Joker's acting like the proud father. Say, look at you.
Yeah.
You finally became me. I'm so proud of you. One thing I noticed with Jason's mask is the eyes, because you remember the other options they were white in the mask. Here you can actually see his pupils and eye color. It's quite interesting.
Talking about how sad he was that Batman died, but then how he took over and he's doing all this stuff, and he's admiring his handiwork he's done. And Jason in his head going, "I haven't killed anybody. You're lying. I haven't killed anybody." But I do like this twist here where he shows in his flashback, you blocked it all out. You did kill these people. You did do this.
Yeah, this was a very good twist.
You know, you see all these mobsters' heads. He's like, showing him, "Hey, you got all these, stop this." Like he shows him here, he kills the helicopter. He's killed the helicopter people.
Yeah, as you say, this was a very good twist. Again, this is something I didn't really expect.
No, I didn't expect this one. Now you revisit when he shot the missile with the black mask, and you see the bang, but then it's that sonic boom here that you hear, that sonic noise that breaks all the glass and cuts him in half and kills him.
Yuck.
And he blocked all this out of his head. And that was the interesting twist here. He blocked it all out of his head because he didn't remember that. He just remembers he was trying to send a message to the Joker.
It's funny that this movie. It's funny that this movie is it's an 18, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. It's well past 18. It should have been like a rated R or something. There's quite some stiff stuff here.
No, it is rated R.
Yeah, it might as well be rated R. It's quite.
Yeah, it is rated R.
Yeah.
Because now Joker's trying to sucker him into killing him. Like, go ahead, take me out. Come on. Make your papa proud.
Yeah, you've got this far. Finish the job. Do what Batman couldn't do.
And then this is when you'll get your next choice here in just a minute.
It's quite cool that you get a choice, but you get like a choice within a choice.
Yeah.
That's a really good touch. So it's not like this choice finishes and you can go back to the other choice. You get another one straight after. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Now we go to the choice of the Joker will die because the Red Hood wants revenge, or you can choose to save him. So which one do we want to do? Spare the Joker first or kill the Joker?
I say let's spare the Joker.
All right. So we're going to go to spare the Joker.
Here we go. we go. So Joker's just more or less taunting Jason. And he just knocks him out. Smart.
Yeah, pretty much pistol whips him one time and then puts him in handcuffs and leaves him for Commissioner Gordon to go ahead and take. And like Commissioner Gordon seems upset. But it's like to see Red Hood's trying to talk to Barbara. Barbara wants nothing to do about it. She wants him to turn himself into her father. Dick now donning Batman's outfit. He's chasing after Red Hood, and then Bruce is dead, so he can't go to Bruce for any guidance or anything because Bruce is gone. Now, this was an interesting choice here, too, because this was another one I didn't think they were going to add into here, which they did, which was very interesting. You see him on the Wayne Enterprise building here.
Oh, yeah. I remember this.
And then you hear him mumbling, which I won't reveal it yet, but then it gets revealed in another part, what he's saying.
That look Batman's got there, very similar to the look he had in the recent comics, Batman Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to that. It looks like a cross between Batman Incorporated and the Jean-Paul Valley Azrael look. It's very, very similar. It's like almost...
Also a similar look to the recent Joker Wars and the Three Jokers, too.
Yeah, it's definitely in there, too.
And see, I like how Taylor's telling about going, no, I couldn't be without him. My bro, we put him in the Lazarus pit, and we brought him back. His mind didn't come back, but his body, his body, he tells me what he wants physically and stuff. And you can tell Jason's just pretty much pissed at this point, like you brought him back from the dead and did all this stuff.
And the only other time that they've ever used the Lazarus pit with Bruce Wayne was in an episode in season 3 of Batman Beyond called Out of the Past, where Bruce Wayne became young again. So that's the only other time that they've done that scenario with the Lazarus pit with Bruce.
And this is interesting because Talia's trying to get him to join them and everything, be the League of Assassins and join him and everything. And you see here Bruce is pulling out the knife. They look like they're ready to go to battle. And then this is where we're getting ready to have that other option.
I've always liked Batman in red and black. I've always liked those colours. Here we go.
And this is where you get to say Batman the Red Hood must fight him in a battle of life or death. And then which one do we want to choose, life or death?
Let's go with life.
All right.
Here we go.
On this one.
So they're getting ready to battle now.
And this one gets interesting because they see him, and then you see where this one you see the Red Hood got stabbed in his left hand, but then you see the right hand was the trick hand that the Joker had. He tases him.
Yeah. It's good to see Jason picked up a trick or two from the Joker. Oh, man.
And then you see where his Red Hood mask blows up and it takes out Talia. And you see there's old Dick with the Batman here, and he's seeing what's happening. He sees Bruce is still alive, and he sees Jason standing over him.
Yeah, I remember this is another callback to the Nightfall story arc that after Bruce got his back broken, Dick Grayson took over as Batman for a little while before they handed it over to Jean-Paul Valley. So this was a nice callback to that classic graphic novel too.
This ending, you see where he, he's gone back with Dick and Barbara. He's burning stuff of the Red Hood. He's trying to get over some of the psychological stuff that happened with him. And then he's sitting there with Alfred, and Dick and Barbara, and then you see Bruce is in his cell here.
This was a really good twist.
Mm-hmm. Talking about they're going to have to try to find a way to reverse the Lazarus death. Then this is where you finally figure out what he was saying. He's been saying, which is Zorro and Arkham. What he was saying, Zorro and Arkham. The last thing his father told him before he died.
Yeah, quite an emotional moment. Just watching this again.
So that's what happens if you get to that point of the movie, and then it will get to credits again. So I think at this point you got to go back to
Okay, so
go back to where Batman died.
So we're going to go to Batman Died.
And it said leaving Robin as at a crossroads, but this time we got to pick if he kills the Joker.
So we're going to pick Kill the Joker. Here we go.
And this one, you're pretty much going to get the same beginning at first. You'll get the funeral and stuff.
There's a headstone that we saw earlier.
Let's see, this time you get people visiting him. You see Dick and you see Barbara. You see Alfred's checking on him. He's telling we'll all catch them together. We'll catch the Joker together. Then when it gets interesting, you'll see different appearances. You'll get Superman here coming to tell him different stories. My favorite one is the next one that comes and visits him, which should be Wonder Woman if I'm right. Yeah, Wonder Woman. He goes, I'm glad she didn't try to use the lasso on me, because the lasso would have told him what was going on in his head. And I do like how they changed the band to go away during the scenes. You see Dick again. You see Flash come to visit him, all bragging about him. He like that. He says, and Dick again. He came to visit me again.
I like how each time Dick shows up, he's always eating.
Yeah, Dick always has food there when he's eating.
He's always eating
something. Funny. And he's just reminiscing, trying to figure out what he wants to do next. And then him and I do like this scene where, they're sitting by their tombstone of Bruce and they're all talking about what's going on, what they want to do. Now, this one's interesting. Now, this time around, you see Jason going to the diner and he's talking to somebody.
When I first saw this scene, because he was acting all eccentric and kooky, I actually thought this was Vic Sage, the Question.
Yeah.
I actually thought this was the Question because the clothes this guy's wearing is very much like what the Question wears, like trench coat and hat and blue suits and tie. It's very similar to the Question. I actually thought it was Vic Sage because Vic Sage is a bit unhinged because he's very He's very deep in his work. See, look, he's very much looks like the Question from that angle.
Yeah, he does. And I like, he's talking about that's not Batman. That's Robin dressed up as Batman. And he goes, I got a good ear. I can listen to your friend. And then I like how he recites the joke from the Killing Joke he told Batman at the end of the movie of the Killing Joke and the comics. And then he flashes back to remember seeing that on the computer. And then you see the flashbacks of what he did to Barbara Gordon, how she was paralyzed. So he realizes right then and there he was the Joker.
Was a good twist to this, I must say.
Well, I like how he was saying though too. Yeah, it's just gonna hang it all up and everything.
I seriously actually thought this was the Question.
Yeah, I thought I could agree with you on that too until you got to the point where you started reading off the same joke from the Killing Joke. Then you realized it was the Joker.
But then it dawned on me while watching this the first time around. I thought, right, if he's the Question would never be seen in public without his mask. He was always wearing his mask.
And see what's interesting because he say Robin looks at him and says, "I'll make sure I tell the big man you said hello." And then that's when you saw them smile, saying, "Boy wonder." And then you see Jason stab him in the eye with a knife, and you see him wiping the makeup off of his face to reveal that he is a Joker.
Another nice little callback to the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns comic book where Batman threw a batarang in Joker's eye. So it's kind of like a little callback to that.
And that's when you get the next choice here. So
let's see what we got.
The Joker died because Jason wanted revenge, but you can bring him to justice. You can either surrender or attack. So do you want to do a surrender first?
Yeah, we'll do surrender first.
All right. So what I like about this is when he just surrenders, you can just see him. His eyes are closed. He's holding cell bars, talking about he got life in prison.
And Jason's just smiling.
Yeah. Now he's calling himself a jailbird. He's got the tattoos, the bruises, everything. And that's how that ending goes.
Yeah, very short option.
So then we go back here. Go back to the Joker died. And then gets interesting. So you go back to attack now. That's where we're going to now is attack.
Here we go. So this is back to what we saw earlier.
In the diner, yeah, but he doesn't get arrested. He doesn't even kill the officers. He just subdues them and takes them down, so he doesn't get arrested.
Now this option is a little bit longer than the other one, but just like a couple more minutes longer.
This is where you see him as the Red Robin.
Now this was a very interesting twist here because Red Robin, to a lot of comic book fans, as we all know, Red Robin is actually Tim Drake, just a bit older. So the idea of Jason becoming the Red Robin is an interesting idea.
And see, I like it. So now instead of him being as the Red Hood, he's the Red Robin, and he's killing all the thugs and mobsters. And now now this time around, you have him killing Cheetah, but now instead of it being Bruce Wayne as Batman, it's actually Dick as Batman here in this scene.
That's right.
And you see where he's got the R there, same R, but instead of being for Red Hood, it's for Red Robin. And we're back to now as Red Robin. He goes to try to kill Black Mass, but now we got the torpedo again. See what this one does this time. This time around, the door actually kills him and cuts his head off. And so now we go to a different scene here because now he's fighting some goons here in the mall, it looks like, and you see where he's fighting Two-Face here.
Little trivia here. This is also the first time that the Red Hood costume has actually appeared in animation. So
You're Red Robin?
Yeah, the Red Robin suit. So this is another first.
Mm-hmm. You see how that sign knocked out Red Robin, so now it's time for Two-Face just to walk up here. He shoots him in the hand here to make sure he can't grab his taser or anything. And I like how he talks about it. Say, "Why are you after me for? Did I kill your mommy, your papa, your mama, your girlfriend?" He just starts naming off everything of who he could have killed to make him want to kill him.
Yeah.
He just said, "Just pretty much spare me everything. Just get over it."
As far as DC animated movies, Two-Face has rarely ever appeared in any. So
No, he doesn't.
It's nice to see him here. Two-Face is one of the big heavy hitters of the Batman Rogues Gallery, but he's very little animated movie appearances, apart from the animated scenes.
And now we get back to a choice. You see the coin flip.
There we go.
He's going to let the coin decide its fate, and then you get the choices. Red Robin will die in Two-Face's game of chance, but you can continue. Wait, let's see here. But you can control the coin. So do you want to go with the good side?
We're going to go with the good side first.
All right.
There we go. I like that they flash the coin. That's quite a nice touch.
Yeah, instead of the red writing, you'll see the coin flash on what side you pick. So we picked the good side here.
There we go.
You see, this is a twist here. So he got the good side, which means he shouldn't kill him, but he wanted to kill him, but he figures at this point he's doing Gotham a favor by trying to take him out. So as he's thinking about it still, all of a sudden you see a taser.
There is Tim Drake.
Yep. And he's trying to convince Red Robin, don't do this. He said, no, you're good. He's quote, this is like a good callback. He's quoting things that Batman said before he died. No, you can reform them. They can be rehabilitated. They can be all this stuff that Bruce would tell Jason. And I like how you see his eyes widen as soon as he starts speaking these words. It reminds him of what Bruce was telling him in his dying death here.
From that angle, where when Tim's telling Jason, that angle there, he looks exactly like Batman when his eyes widen.
And I like how they show that Bruce Wayne Memorial. It shows that Dick Grayson is running the foundation. I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, it's the little small things like that are really nice.
And then I like how he listens to this kid. He doesn't realize it's Tim Drake at the time, but he listens to him. He puts the gun down and he says, all right, what do we do next? And then you realize that's Tim Drake, who was supposed to be the third Robin. And then I like how they feel like, well, newspaper Red Robin reformed. It talks about whoever said evil can't be cured, only killed. It was an asshole, whatever. I don't remember how he said it, but pretty much it was interesting to see. Now you see the Batman symbol, and now you see, Red Robin, and now you see that Tim Drake actually became Batboy, and he went back to working with Dick and Barbara.
That's a good twist. Very interesting twist there.
That one was too, but now let's go back to where he goes to the bad side of the coin. This one's also a little bit of an interesting one as well. So because then your other option is if you get the scratched up coin.
Here we go. The coin flips to the bad side.
And see, and this is ironic because he always, in comics, if it's the good side, you'll live. If the bad side, you'll die. But this was actually well done. It was the opposite of what he did, because the good side of the coin, he wanted to kill him. And the bad side of the coin, when he's looking at him talking about, all right, he's about to kill him, he said, I can't kill something that's already dead. Batman stood for something. You don't stand for anything anymore. He said, you used to be by his side, now you stand for nothing. So I can't kill something that's dead inside. And I think that was very powerful for this character, because he always, no matter what that coin did, but the coin chose the bad side, he was going to kill him.
Yeah, that was always Two-Face. That was always the thing about Two-Face.
And that's the rare times where you see he doesn't want to kill him because he's already dead inside. So right. He just brings the sleeves and he says, I'll see you in hell.
We flash back to Bruce's final moments.
And he sees the Batman suit that he donned, and then you see he's standing next to Dick and Barbara. He's come back, to them. And that's where that ends. Now, the only other choices we have left is going back to, where were we? Robin, Batman died. No, we have to actually, yeah, we actually have to go back to Batman died and actually play it out where see, this is a trick with this one. If you remember this, to get to this other ending, you have to go to catch the Joker.
So we're going back to Batman died.
Yeah, and we're going to catch the Joker.
1 minute.
Because then it'll replay what we were talking about earlier in the stream, talking about how
we're going to catch the Joker.
Yeah, and this is the other one, because you got 2 more endings you can get, or 1 more ending you can mainly get to, but you got to play these scenarios to get to it. So and I think that for this movie, since we've already discussed this, I think for this movie they did a really good job giving you different choices and different ideas of what could have happened in the comic books. Now, do you think, in your opinion, since we've already got through this part, do you think, in your opinion, they made the right decision back then to kill Jason Todd?
Well, I think killing Jason Todd off, I mean, obviously nobody knew at the time the impact his death would have, but I think looking back now, I think they did a good thing killing him off, because by killing him off, you introduce Tim Drake as the third Robin, but then at the same time, you bring Jason Todd back from the dead as the Red Hood, which was a callback to the Joker's pre-Joker days. So I think I'd say overall, I think everything worked out for the best, really, because as you said at the beginning, killing Jason Todd off, we got all these great classic Batman storylines for the next God knows how many years. So a lot of good stuff came out of it, I would say. I think if Jason Todd had lived, I don't know if would we have got all this stuff. It's very hard to say, really, but I probably would say everything worked out okay. What do you think?
I think in the long run it played out because it happened in I think it was 1988 when it happened. You got so many great stories out of it when you had him come back as the Red Hood, and then you've had so many stories even just recently with the Three Jokers story that just wrapped up recently. That was a very well done story, and it involved his story about the Red Hood. And there's a lot of facts in there that are very interesting for anybody who hasn't read that yet. I keep going to recommend it that everybody needs to read it because you will find out some new information as we're streaming this now. You'll find out some new information about that ties into the Killing Joke and Under the Red Hood, this story arc. That's very interesting.
So which ones have we not done yet?
We have only not done two other options, which we were playing this out now. We're back to the scene where the Joker's trying to light his lighter. We had instead of us sparing the Joker, we got to kill the Joker now in this one.
So we're going to kill the Joker now.
Yep. And then we'll get to the next scene. And then that's it. And then that's it. That's pretty much all. Once you get to the last two options here, that's all the options you have, that'll be all 7 options you get. Which overall, as interactive as this is different. Now I know people were complaining that they couldn't do it with the streaming, and because I know they had a Netflix movie not too long ago, that Black Mirror movie that came out where they had it set up to be interactive streaming it, but they just didn't do that here. Do you think that was like a mistake they did by not making it interactive on streaming platforms?
Yeah, I mean they should have done that really. I mean, even if people didn't want to buy the Blu Ray, they should have been also given the option for that. Wow, Joker's dead. See Lex Luthor. Joker's body in the morgue. Very morbid. Now, this is a nice callback to the Joker's body getting cremated. That was at the beginning of the Arkham game. There's Dr. Harleen Quinzel, who, as we all know, go on to become Harley Quinn.
Oh, you got further than I did in the stream because I'm still playing it out to get to that choice.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm like going, wait a minute, you're way ahead of me on that one, Cub. I played that I went because on the Blu Ray it won't give me the option to go back to you have to pick whether Joker lives or dies. It made me go back to where he had to catch the Joker first. It didn't give me the option to go back to go forward on that one. That's one thing I just caught on that.
Where are you up to now?
To the part where Joker's telling him how impressed he was and everything like that.
All right. We'll wait till you get to where I'm at.
That's weird. Like I said, I don't know, different formats then, because you're watching yours on your laptop or not your laptop, your PS3 or PS4.
PS3.
Yeah.
It's on the PS3, so I'll wait till you. Where I'm up to now is the rooftop with Talia and Batman, so I've just paused it there till you get to that point.
Yeah, that's the one thing here. If you don't go back when you do other stories, you have to actually go and backtrack. I think that's one thing I'll say about the Blu-ray they could have done is when you got to this scene, like they give you a choice for all the other scenes, except when you play out the stories, you have to actually go back and play them out to get to this scene where you can either kill the Joker or capture the Joker. And then when you get to the rooftop scene, you have to go back to, life or death. And you have to actually play the scenes out again to get to those options. They don't automatically go back to them.
No, they don't.
And that's one thing I just caught on. And I didn't think about it the first couple. I've watched this, like I said, 2 or 3 times. to have an idea of, so I can remember certain things or see if I can catch certain callbacks or whatnot. And see, now I'm to the point now where it's about to. Now I'm to the point now where I go back to, he's about to get the choice of whether to catch him or kill him. But see, this is the kind of thing they could have done, like, you know, like I talked about before, Marvel doing What If series. DC could have done something similar, I guess, done a What If series, and they could have had different one single issue comic stories of what if this had happened instead. They could have done that, and I think they could have done real huge business doing that.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that they've not touched upon the Elseworlds series, because there is a lot of cool stuff you can do there with Elseworlds. I'm very surprised they've not done that yet. I think they can kill it with that if they do it right.
Yeah, that's the thing. You gotta be able to do it right too. Like, look at the Injustice, that storyline. They did a really good job with the Injustice storyline.
Oh yeah. Are you up to the rooftop scene? Yeah.
Now to the Joker will die because the Red Hood, and I got spare the Joker. I got to go to kill the Joker, and now it'll get me to the rooftop scene.
Okay. I've just paused it to the rooftop scene, so I'll just wait till you get there.
I don't know. Like I said, I guess it lets you skip ahead further than it does mine. I was like, that's weird. Like I said, but you know, different devices do different things.
True. Very true.
Yeah, and like I said, then there's times you watch the scene, okay, so he killed the Joker, and there's parts of me goes, I don't feel bad for him killing the Joker, but parts of me going, I can understand Batman's principle, with some of them going, I wouldn't feel bad. I don't feel bad for him. But see, what's interesting here is like they look like they're upset and they're mourning the fact that they killed the Joker. He killed the Joker.
I think
that's what's interesting about this is they act like they're mourning the Joker. Like there's Lex Luthor, and then there's the Joker's body, and then him getting cremated. It's like they're mourning his death more than, oh, thank God this anguish has been left over the world. Now we're all mourning him.
Yeah, it is pretty weird and messed up.
But like I said, with that death, but what I like it does show and highlight with that death, Harley Quinzel never becomes Harley Quinn.
Yeah, there's an interesting Elseworlds right there. What if Harley Quinn had never met the Joker? Would Harley Quinzel still become that person? There's an interesting Elseworlds right there.
Agreed. Now I'm on the rooftop scene. We're back to being on the rooftop now.
Let's go. Anyway.
Because this is the last option we get in the movie of whether we played he saves Batman. So now what happens if he kills Batman is the interesting one.
Yeah, this is it. So this is kill the Joker. We are now up to, same as before, the rooftop scene with Batman and Talia.
And so now, after watching some of the other stuff, now you know what he's saying to every time he talks. Now you know he's saying Zorro and Arkham. Now you understand it. But if you didn't watch the other ending, you wouldn't quite understand it right away.
That's right.
Well, one thing I didn't reference is here when you get to this part, it's like he'll talk about he knows my moves, I know his moves, as they're getting ready to fight each other. So I don't know. This, like I said, this movie, I don't know. I think they did a real good job with this movie. I know some people are complaining that, oh, it's a cash grab. They just doing all this stuff. But I mean, if you look at it for what it is, they give you different choices and they are telling you different stories. Some things you knew would happen, some things you wouldn't have thought would have happened. And it did a good blend of mixing everything up to say, okay, this is what could have happened had we did this. This is what could have happened if we did this. Now
Okay.
to save that.
Death.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yep, and this is the last choice you get in the whole series here.
Here we go.
And what we saw when he lived, he had the Joker's fake hand, and now it's like the stare off and the standoff.
Here we go. Oh,
this time they stab each other.
yeah, this was quite.
Got his hand, and then he stabbed Batman this time, and Batman collapses.
Yay.
So here's the interesting twist: as he's mouthing off, Zorro and Arkham, and he's got his bomb. And see, and then this scene too, he could have tried to move last second. He didn't. He just stayed right there with him.
Yeah, it's almost like Jason just accepted what was going to happen.
Yeah, he just accepted it. It's like, well, Batman's gone. I should have been the one that died, not him. So I'm just going to go back with him. And the artwork here and the animation was so well done on their, how it looks, how they're dead and everything. You could pretty much, you already knew they weren't going to survive this.
Yeah, the art. Yeah, I never realized the artwork for that seems really well done.
And that pretty much concludes everything in this movie. We've gone through every single choice we had to do.
Yep. Overall, very cool concept. Love the options that you can choose to play out not just Jason Todd's fate, but Batman's fate and the Joker's fate. So essentially, as we said before, it's like, in a way, you've kind of got like at least 7 movies in one.
Yeah, and you got 7 short movies in one. You got a shorter version of Under the Red Hood from Batman's point of view. You got different choices that could have happened. References to the Under the Red Hood, references to the Killing Joke. All in all, like I said, I think they did a really good job with this. I think, like I said, my one criticism is the fact that they didn't allow you to do the interactive stuff in the streaming service, where I think they lost that on a great opportunity. Because when I referenced, they did a Netflix movie, the Black Mirror Banderswitch, that was interactive, and it can be done. I've seen it done with that movie. They gave you the choices. So it could have been done. I think they missed out on a great opportunity to make it interactive with the streaming services.
Oh yeah, big time. My only criticism, I would say, not of the movie itself, because it was really good, but I would probably say the only criticism I have is they should have released this first 10 years ago, and then did the Red Hood movie exactly as it was, maybe like a few years after. That's my only thing, because they kind of went backwards. Like, they released Red Hood first in 2010, and then 10 years later they released Death in the Family. But that's the only thing I would say, is that they did things backwards. But apart from that, I've got no issues with Death in the Family. It's very well done. The idea of getting to choose different options to play out different characters' fates was very well done. So yeah, overall, excellent. Highly recommended to anyone who maybe be familiar with Batman but probably don't know the ins and outs of Jason Todd. Highly recommend you get this, and make sure you buy the Blu Ray interactive movie, not the streaming service, because as our friend here says, you're robbed of certain options that are available to you.
Yeah, if you get it on the streaming service or you rent it, you're going to get the very first version we discussed earlier. and we pretty much will get the whole story, a shortened version of Under the Red Hood. It'll just give you the Robin dies scenario, and that's all that it gives you. So you would have to get the Blu Ray if you want to get all this. And I do like the fact that they do come with the additional shorts. You had 4 additional shorts on there as well. Yeah. So overall, you had about a good 2 hours of content on here, because we've been going about almost an hour and a half with all the scenarios and choices. So pretty much it is the equivalence of a feature-length movie. You just have to choose your options of what you do to get what choices you want.
Yeah, definitely. So we are going to wrap this up now. What were your thoughts on Batman Death in the Family interactive movie? Did you think it's a good thing? Would you like to see them do more? And if so, which story arcs would you like to see them tackle? You know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and we will see all of you next time. And a special thanks to the Holiday Christopher Mace for sitting in and doing this watch along. It was very good and very interesting to hear your thoughts on this very interesting concept. So until next time, take care everybody and stay safe.
Have a good one, y'all.
You too.